Hey guys, today I'm going to be reviewing Season 1 of Domina. So, before I do head into my thoughts and feelings on Domina, spoilers? I don't particularly plan on having any sort of spoilers in this video, but then again, this is based off of historical events, historical people. I don't really consider things like that spoilers anyway, but in regards to like just plot and big plot points, I guess, I'm not going to be like going into any type of spoilers like that. So yeah, what is Domina about? This is a 8-part series. I'm not sure if this is a one-season sort of thing or if it's going to be a multi-season sort of thing. I'm not quite sure. The way this first season ended, I could see it going into multiple seasons. I don't know why not. So yeah. At the time of filming this video, I've not seen any sort of announcement about if it is just a mini-series or if it's going to be multi-seasons. Like I said though, I really hope it's going to be multi-seasons though, because I did really like this and I do think there's a lot of story left to tell. But yeah, this was an 8-part season. It originally aired in the UK first, and then it aired over here in the US on the Epix channel. And what you need to know about Domina, it follows the life and journey of Livia Drusilla, who was the wife of Roman Emperor Augustus Caesar. And boy oh boy, you guys, this show, I really loved it. I think there's some rough patches here and there in the show, but the thing is, let me put it this way, this show is never dull and it's never boring. It is certainly very incredibly wildly entertaining. It can be a little cheesy in certain places, a little silly, a little absurd, but like I said, it is never dull or boring. It is always highly entertaining. And I normally, even though I love the historical fiction genre, the thing is, within the genre, I have never really delved too much into, like, you know, ancient Rome. I've consumed things, you know, whether that's movies or television or books. I've kind of dabbled in ancient Rome on occasion, and I do tend to enjoy it, but it tends to not be the type of you know, kind of subgenre, if you will, of historical fiction that I gravitate to, because I do tend to really enjoy, you know, like the British monarchy genre within historical fiction. You know, that kind of tends to be my thing. I tend to be into like the medieval era of Europe. So yeah, things like ancient Rome, ancient Greece, ancient Egypt, you know, I'm not entirely really familiar with a lot of that. So yeah, what was going on in this show was pretty brand new to me. So yeah, if there are historical liberties taken, I have no idea. I have no idea what was, you know, fact and fiction, essentially. I did try to do a little bit of research, because there were some things I was kind of like, huh, did that really happen, you know? So I did look up a little bit of stuff here and there in regards to, you know, certain characters, certain events. But yeah, a lot of this was just absolutely brand new to me, which I kind of loved, because I wasn't quite sure what to expect heading into it, you know. So yeah, let's start with the cast very quickly. Definitely a really fantastic cast, a lot of great British talent in there. In the role of Livia Drusilla, we have kind of a double performance there, because there is Nadia Parks in the first 2 episodes playing young Livia Drusilla, and then for the remainder of the series, let me look at her name because I feel like I'm gonna butcher her name. Kasia Smutnik? Kasia Smutnik. She plays the older Livia Drusilla. And then in the role of Augustus Caesar, or Gaius as Livia tends to call him, is Matthew McNulty. Love Matthew McNulty. And then playing Livia's father is Liam Cunningham. I do love Liam Cunningham. He's been getting all of these like wise older father figure roles lately in kind of the advanced years of his life, it seems. So yeah, that's kind of your basic cast right there. This does have a very large cast of characters. There's a lot of people in here, but that's kind of your big ones, you know. So what I did love about this show, not only learning more about this particular time with ancient Rome, because this is taking place not too terribly long after the assassination of Julius Caesar, Augustus Caesar / Gaius, however you want to refer to him. Julius Caesar was his... In the show, he says it's his father, but the quick research that I was doing, it made it sound like Julius Caesar adopted Augustus Caesar as his son. Like, it's not like his biological son, unless what I was reading was terribly mistaken. Or I misunderstood it. I don't know. But yeah, in the context of the show, Gaius kept referring to Julius Caesar as his father and whatnot. But yeah, either way, the events of this show are taking place not too terribly long after the assassination of Julius Caesar, and yeah, Rome kind of being in this state of chaos, if you will, and all these various different factions vying for power and control of Rome. And yeah, here's Livia Drusilla at the start of the show as a young girl of 15, I think she starts out as, getting married, you know, forced into a marriage, and yeah, her father putting a lot of weight and responsibility on her, like, hey, in the event of my death, if things start falling apart, I'm leaving it up to you to, you know, bring Rome back, you know, turn it back into a republic, essentially, and get to the top as best as you can, no matter what. So that's kind of where you're at the start of this show. And yeah, the show... It's very well done, you guys. Like I said, there can be some cheesy moments, some pretty absurd moments. It can be rather melodramatic. Seriously, you guys, I'll get into some of the little nitpicks I had with the show. It can be a little melodramatic, but like I said, it is always highly entertaining, and it's always action-packed. It's really focused a lot on the politics of Rome during this specific time period. It's almost like very much like Game of Thrones. If you like Game of Thrones, you're definitely going to like a lot of the political stuff and the characters, you know, the political maneuvering among the characters. If you like that side of Game of Thrones, you're definitely going to like that whole aspect of this show. And yeah, Livia Drusilla, you know, really manipulating and kind of weaving in and out where she can, you know, and she is a woman. That's another thing that the show is definitely playing with, is the role of women, because there's the women who are subservient, and it's like, hey, this is what a Roman woman should be, and what they should do and what their duty is, and they have no role in politics. But yeah, Livia Drusilla, since her father was high up there with politics and really had a say with how Rome was run, yeah, Livia Drusilla has that running in her veins as well. Like, my father was a great man. I want to do good by what he did, and I'm going to try to bring Rome back and turn it back into a republic and whatnot. So yeah, the show's definitely playing with that. You know, the role of women, the women who just their various different roles. You know, the ones who are manipulators, the one who are about family, the ones who are trying to balance all of that. And then yeah, there's also like a female slave in here. Her name is Antigone, and even the role of female slaves in this as well. I really love the role of women played naturally into this show, because it definitely worked, you know, with this particular time period in Rome and whatnot. As far as some of my little minor nitpicks with the show, like I said, I've kind of already mentioned several times that it was a little cheesy and absurd on occasion, but never dull or boring. Let me keep repeating that. I think some issues I had with the show, because it's like it was trying to be a historical fiction drama. You know, it was trying to be part of that genre, but at the same time it was trying to still weave in elements of, you know, so that a modern audience could get into it. And sometimes I felt like certain things would just seem a little too modern, and the language, especially the dialogue, how people would speak to each other, I would be like, okay, I don't think they would have really talked to each other that way during this time period. Another thing, the F word. The F word. There was an overabundance of the F word in this show. Now, I don't have a problem with the F word. Don't get me wrong. I do not have a problem with the F word. But it's the nature of how the F word was used in the show. Like at one point, Livia Drusilla, she's just getting really riled up and pissed off about some stuff, and she's like, F them. And like she storms into a room, and it just felt so modern. You know, it felt like something a modern character in a show would do when they're mad at somebody, and they'd be like, "Oh, F them, F him, F her." And I was just like, it doesn't seem like they like that. Like it would have been phrased like that during the time period, if that makes sense, you know. So that's just a little thing like that. The use of the F word and how it was kind of used in the context of it being used sometimes, it felt way too modern. I know that might be a silly little nitpick, but it was just kind of little modern little things like that that would kind of bug me about the writing, because they were trying to get a modern audience into it, you know. And then also the teenagers. There's quite a large number of teenagers in this show, and sometimes it would almost turn into a young adult book. There's love triangles, there's teenagers that are just all in love with whoever and having issues and dramas, issues with their parents, issues with other teenagers, whatever. Yeah, it would turn almost into like a young adult book on occasion, and it would kind of get a little silly in those moments. And then another slight nitpick, and this is going to either bother you a lot or just in a minor way. It kind of bothered me quite a little bit. I was not expecting a massive cast change. A lot of times when you have historical shows like this and you're going through the life story of somebody, a lot of times someone is cast that can pull off playing younger than themselves, and then also older than themselves, because it's all about hair and makeup and clothing. The hairstylist, the makeup artist, the costumer, they really got to do their job to make someone either look younger or older, you know, to make that believable. But instead of the show doing that, you know, having just one actress playing Livia Drusilla, they have two actresses. And it was, I don't know, it was a little bit odd for me, kind of having two actresses like that, and then even other characters, because Augustus Caesar has two actors playing him. There's a younger version and an older version, and then there's several other characters that have younger and older versions of themselves as well, and I don't know if that was absolutely necessary to have dual actors, you know what I mean? I feel like the show could have tried to pull it off, just having one single actor, because in the meantime, because the younger actors are only in 2 episodes, you guys. So then we have 6 episodes with the older actors. But the thing is, all of a sudden, here in episode 3, we get a rather large time jump. And not only is there a large time jump, but all of a sudden we get brand new actors in these roles. And, I mean, it was easy to figure out who was Augustus Caesar, and it was easy to obviously figure out who was Livia Drusilla. But some of the other characters, it's like you only spent 2 episodes with them already, and, you know, when you're watching a show like this, it can take you a good little while to kind of really warm up with the show, you know, especially learning names. And this is ancient Rome. Everybody has extravagant names. Everybody has like multiple different names. It's hard to try to keep track of whose name is what and what family they belong to. It's pretty complicated and complex with ancient Rome with names, you guys. So in the first 2 episodes, it's like I was sitting there trying to figure out names and who was in what family, and then all of a sudden, here comes episode 3. We have a big change up with the cast, and people are calling each other by names, and it's like, and I'm trying to visualize, okay, well, who was their younger counterpart in the first 2 episodes? You know, so it was kind of a little bit frustrating in episode 3, trying to reorient myself, if that makes sense, reorient myself with, okay, who is who here, you know, and try to visualize who that younger actor was. So yeah, that's either going to bother you or it's not going to bother you. It seriously did only bother me for that 3rd episode, but I think even throughout the remainder of the show, I think I still kept having moments of like, okay, who is this again? I'm still trying to kind of wrap my head around that. So yeah, that's kind of really my only little nitpicks with the show. The modern language, kind of the context, some of the modern language we use that didn't really feel that natural or believable. And then, yeah, the big cast shift, when I don't think it was absolutely necessary, because I think if if they just did really good with the costumes and makeup and hair, I think they could have just had one actor for a lot of these roles, if that makes sense. So that is pretty much it for my thoughts and feelings on Domina. Would I recommend this? Yes, I would definitely recommend this. It's seriously a great time, you guys. I do think there are some little flaws here and there with the show, but once again, it is crazily enjoyable, you guys. There's great moments of drama and tension. There's great moments of humor. I was pretty surprised how humorous this show could be, considering it's ancient Rome. It was pretty hilarious on occasion. I love the cast. It was just a beautiful show. The look of it, I mean, you could tell it had a really great budget, because it looked like they went all out with like the costuming and the locations and really making this feel like ancient Rome and whatnot, really kind of enmeshing you into that world and that environment and whatnot. So yeah, I definitely recommend it. And like I mentioned at the top of the review, I'm hoping it has another season, because when I was doing some research about Livia Drusilla, since I'd never really heard of her before, I think it said she lived to be about 78 years old, which is absolutely unheard of. Yeah, guys, when it comes to like ancient history, it's like people didn't really live long. It wasn't really until the modern era that we started, our life expectancy started, going up, and we're living closer to like 100 years now. So that kind of blew my mind how long Livia Drusilla lived. And yeah, the show kind of ends, I think she's probably either in about her late 30s or early 40s, it seems like. So yeah, there's still another half of her life to go, and so the show ends in a certain way that I can definitely see them continuing with her life and her story, her love story with Augustus Caesar and whatnot. I loved Livia and Gaius, you guys. I love that relationship. It was super steamy and sexy. So yeah, I'm really crossing my fingers this gets another season. Now, it does work as a single season, though. It doesn't have like a massive cliffhanger that's like, oh my god, what's going to happen next? It doesn't have like a super massive cliffhanger or anything. The way it ends, you could see it as being conclusive and final, and just kind of speculate the future and the what ifs and whatnot. But yeah, please, a second season. I would really like it. So you guys, that is it for my thoughts and feelings on Domina. In the comments below, have you guys seen the show? Did you love it? Did you hate it? And if you want to talk about spoilers with me, please feel free to do so. So that's it for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you like this video, you may like these other videos. Bye guys.